I was scrolling through my phone when I saw it, another message from him that didn't make sense. I'll be home late. Again. I frowned. Adrian, is everything okay? I whispered into the empty apartment. The phone buzzed again. His reply, yeah, just work stuff. Don't wait up. I clenched my fists. Work stuff? At midnight. I muttered to myself. When he walked in finally, I didn't even hide my suspicion. You're late again. What's really going on? I asked, keeping my voice steady. He shrugged, casual like he always did. I told you, just work. Why are you making a big deal out of this? A big deal? Adrian, you've been disappearing every night for the past week. Don't lie to me, I said, feeling my chest tighten. He stopped, looking at me in that way that once made my heart flutter. You're imagining things, really? I shook my head. I'm not imagining anything. I saw your texts, the calls, you're seeing someone else, aren't you? My voice broke, even as I tried to keep it firm. He looked away. Silence. The kind that makes your skin crawl. I didn't want you to find out this way, he said finally, almost whispering. You didn't want me to find out? Adrian, tell me the truth. My voice rose, anger cutting through the hurt. He sighed and ran his hand through his hair. Yes. It's true. I've been seeing her. I didn't mean for it to happen, but don't. I cut in sharply. Don't even start with excuses. How long? 3 months, he admitted. I didn't plan it, it just happened. My stomach dropped. 3 months? You've been lying to me for 3 months. I could hardly breathe. I didn't lie, he said quickly. I didn't tell you because I thought I could fix it. Or maybe I didn't want to hurt you. I'm sorry, really. Sorry? My laughter was bitter. Do you know what that word means right now? Sorry doesn't undo 3 months of betrayal. Sorry doesn't erase every memory I thought we had. He stepped closer. I never stopped loving you. Don't, I snapped. Don't even say that. You don't get to love me when you've been with her behind my back. He looked at me, helpless. Please. I didn't want this to happen. You didn't want it? I whispered, my voice trembling. Do you even realize what you've done? The trust you destroyed. He stayed silent. That silence felt heavier than any words could. I turned away, pacing. I trusted you, Adrian. I thought we were everything. And now I don't even recognize you. He reached out, but I stepped back. Don't touch me. You've done enough. I sank onto the couch, my hands shaking. How could I have been so blind? I thought I knew you. I thought I could count on you. He muttered, almost to himself. I never wanted this. Leave, I said, voice firm despite the tears spilling down. Just go. I need to think. I need space from everything you've ruined. He nodded, finally understanding. I'll go. I'm sorry, truly. The door clicked shut behind him, leaving me alone. I slumped further into the couch, staring at the ceiling. My perfect life, shattered. The apartment felt empty without him. I hugged myself and stared at the door, trying to convince myself I hadn't imagined anything. My phone buzzed. It was Lila. Hey, I heard. Are you okay? Her voice was gentle but worried. I tried to keep it steady. I'll survive, I said, forcing a laugh I didn't feel. You don't sound okay.
Talk to me, she pressed.
I confronted him. Adrian. He didn't even hesitate. I whispered, my hands shaking. He just admitted it. 3 months. 3 months. Lila's voice rose in disbelief. God, I'm so sorry. That bastard. I know, I said sharply, cutting her off. I can't even process it. I thought we were perfect. And now everything feels wrong. I can't stop thinking about it, about him, about her. You need to breathe. Don't let him ruin you, Lila said firmly. I'm trying. I really am. But every time I think I'm okay, I remember how calm he was, how unapologetic. Like, he didn't even care what he destroyed.
He's an idiot, she snapped.
You deserve better. Way better. You're amazing. Don't let him make you forget that. I chuckled bitterly. Amazing? I feel like a fool. How could I have trusted him so blindly? I thought I knew him. You did. You just didn't know his other side. That's not your fault, she said softly. I closed my eyes and let out a shaky breath. I keep replaying our last conversation. I told him, don't even say you love me. And yet here I am, missing him. How is that possible? It's normal, Lila replied. You're human. Just don't let your feelings trap you. You have a life to live. I sniffled. I don't know if I have a life without him. Everything reminds me of him. The apartment, the coffee mug, the stupid pillow I thought he liked. Then get rid of them. Start fresh. Take control, she said firmly. Promise me you won't stay stuck. I'll try, I whispered. But right now, I just want to scream. Or cry. Or throw something across the room. You can do that. Just don't let it swallow you. You'll come out stronger, Lila encouraged. I laughed softly. You always know what to say. I don't think I could survive without you. You'd survive. But I'm here anyway, she said. Now, tell me, did he even look sorry when he left? I shook my head, though she couldn't see me. No. He was calm, almost smug. Like he had already moved on. It made me sick, Lila. Sick and empty. That's his problem, not yours, she said. You'll heal. And one day, you'll look back and laugh at this, I promise. I wiped my tears. I hope you're right. I really do. Now, drink some water and breathe. And if you need me, I'm here always. I smiled weakly. Thanks, Lila. I really mean it. I hung up and sank onto the couch, staring at the door again. He was gone, confident, unapologetic, and I was left with the pieces of a life I thought was mine. I couldn't stop thinking about Adrian. Every corner of my apartment whispered his name, mocking me. I needed answers. My fingers hovered over my laptop. Maybe I shouldn't, but I couldn't resist. I dialed Lila. Hey, I need your help, I said, voice tight. What now? She asked, suspicious. I want to know about his new life. About her. Her. Lila's tone sharpened. Don't do anything stupid, okay? I'm not stupid, I said quickly, more to convince myself. I need to see what I'm up against. Fine, she sighed. But be careful. I hung up and typed his name. The first few results were boring, social media profiles, work mentions, but then I found it, a photo of Adrian smiling with a woman I didn't know. She was radiant, her hair cascading perfectly over her shoulders, her dress flawless. Who the hell is she? I muttered. I clicked through her profile. Name, Sophia. Engagement announced last month. Pictures of them laughing, traveling, holding hands, it was everywhere. My stomach churned. I whispered to myself, she's perfect. Too perfect. Then I laughed bitterly. Why am I even surprised? He always loved the shiny, easy things. Lila buzzed again. Well, she's engaged to him, I said, gripping my phone. Sophia. Glamorous, smiling, perfect. I hate her already. You sound like you want revenge, Lila said carefully. I don't, not yet, I said quickly. But I want to see how this plays out. I want justice, not petty anger. I want him to realize what he lost. Careful. That path is slippery, she warned. I know, I whispered. But I can't stop thinking about it. Every photo, every caption. I keep remembering us. How we laughed, how he promised me everything. And now he's smiling at her. You'll survive this. You're stronger than him, stronger than both of them, Lila said. I hope so, I said softly. It's just, I thought I knew him. I thought I was enough. And suddenly I'm nothing. Invisible. Like I never mattered. You mattered, Lila reminded me. He just didn't have the sense to see it. I can't stop thinking about the audacity, I muttered. 3 months of lies, and now this girl, acting like she's his world. She probably doesn't even know the real him, Lila said. I smiled bitterly. Maybe that's what makes it worse. She's stepping into my life, into my memories, and she doesn't even realize it. But I'll make sure she does, subtly. Not to hurt her, not yet. Just reality, delivered softly. Lila paused. You're scaring me. Don't go too far. I won't, I said, though my mind was already racing with ideas. I just want him to feel the consequences of what he did. I want the truth to surface.
Slowly.
Naturally. Not my hands yet. You sound like a chess player, Lila said, half laughing. I guess I am, I admitted. And he's the pawn who doesn't know the game has started. I closed my laptop, staring at the ceiling. The memory of Adrian's eyes, cold and unapologetic, haunted me. But now that memory fueled me. I would watch. I would wait. And I would ensure that justice, in its own way, found him. I told myself I was fine. At work, I smiled, laughed when necessary, and kept my hands from shaking as I typed emails. But Alex, he noticed. Hey, are you okay? He asked softly, leaning against my cubicle. His brown eyes were calm, observant. I forced a smile. Yeah, just tired. Late nights, you know? He frowned. Tired of work, or something else? I hesitated, then shrugged. Something else. Nothing you need to worry about. I might not be able to fix it, he said carefully, but I can listen. I laughed lightly, hiding the pang in my chest. I appreciate that. Really? He nodded. I've noticed you've been off. You don't have to pretend here. Pretend. I raised an eyebrow. I'm always this cheerful. He smiled faintly.
Cheerful, yes.
But I see past it. It's okay to let your guard down. I swallowed hard, unsure how to respond. Maybe one day. Not today. Fair enough, he said. Just if you ever need someone, I'm around. No judgment. I nodded, grateful but cautious. Thanks, Alex. That means a lot. Later, I met Lila for coffee. You met someone? She asked, eyes curious. Just a coworker, I replied. He seems nice. Notices things. Not like Adrian. Not like Adrian? Sounds like a step in the right direction, Lila said, smiling. I guess, I admitted. I don't know if I want a replacement or if I just need to heal. You need both, she said firmly. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. And forgetting doesn't mean giving up on happiness. I nodded, staring into my coffee. I keep thinking about Adrian, about her, Sophia. It's hard not to want some kind of revenge. Revenge won't heal you, Lila said softly. It might feel good for a second, but it won't fix the emptiness. I know, I said, biting my lip. But seeing him happy with her, it twists something inside me. Then focus on yourself, she said. Career, friends, growth. Make your life so full he can't touch it. I smiled faintly. I've been trying. Work, friends, everything. I guess Alex notices more than anyone else. Maybe that's a good thing, Lila said. Someone who sees your real pain might help you move forward instead of pulling you back. I nodded slowly. Yeah. He's cautious, thoughtful. I don't know if I'm ready for more than that, but it's comforting. Comfort is a start, she said. Trust me. You're stronger than you think. I took a deep breath. I have to be. I can't let Adrian or anyone else control my emotions anymore. Exactly, Lila said. Show the world who you really are, without hiding behind the hurt. I smiled, a little lighter than before. I'll try, one day at a time. Back at my desk, Alex passed by again. Coffee later? He asked casually. Sure, I said, my heart racing just a little. I think I could use it. And for the first time in days, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I could start moving forward. I couldn't stop thinking about Sophia. I kept scrolling through her posts, her flawless smile, the perfect life she seemed to live with Adrian. But then something odd caught my eye. I tapped my phone. Wait a second, that can't be right, I muttered. Lila called. What now? I think Sophia's not as perfect as she wants everyone to believe, I said, trying to sound casual. What do you mean? I noticed her schedule is off. She posts about volunteering or charity events, but there are inconsistencies. Photos with different backgrounds, people she doesn't know, captions that don't match. And some comments she ignores, totally arrogant. Lila paused. So, she's fake. Not entirely, I said, a thrill running through me. Just manipulative. She wants everyone to think she's the perfect bride. And I think I can make her stumble subtly. Nothing overt, nothing cruel. Just little nudges. You're going to play games with her? Lila asked, worried. I'm not playing, I said firmly. I'm teaching lessons. Karma in motion. Not my hands, but I'll guide it. I started small. At a social event, I noticed her dropping her phone repeatedly. Oh, let me help, I said, picking it up. She smiled, too wide, a little forced. Thanks, she said, voice syrupy. I'm so clumsy sometimes. I raised an eyebrow. Clumsy, or distracted? Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. Maybe both. Later, I overheard her speaking with a friend. I don't understand why Adrian still remembers her, she said, clearly annoyed. Who, me? I whispered to myself, smirking. I started leaving subtle hints in places she frequented, misfiled notes, slight changes in social media events, little reminders of reality. Not cruel, but enough to make her slip slightly in front of others. One evening, Alex noticed my plotting. You're smiling like a mastermind, he said, handing me my coffee. I laughed lightly. I'm just observing. Seeing cracks in a perfect facade. Cracks, huh? He asked, curiosity piqued.
Yes.
It's fascinating. I shouldn't enjoy it, but I do. Not because I hate her, well, maybe a little, but mostly because justice is finally moving. Alex studied me quietly. You've changed. You're strategic, deliberate. But don't lose yourself in it. I won't, I promised, though I wasn't sure if I fully believed it. The thrill grew each day. Sophia's perfectly curated life began showing slight imperfections. A missed appointment, a flustered smile, a comment answered incorrectly. And each time, I felt a strange mixture of satisfaction and guilt. Lila called again. You're obsessed, she said softly. I'm not obsessed, I insisted. I'm aware. I want him to see her for who she really is. Not through my eyes, through her own actions. Karma, subtle but inevitable. You sound like a chess player, Lila said, laughing lightly. Maybe I am, I whispered. And the board is finally set. That night, I lay in bed, thinking of Adrian's smug face, Sophia's fake smile, and the delicate thread of consequences I was gently tugging. The thrill of control mingled with guilt, but I couldn't stop. Not yet. I knew this was just the beginning, that I stared at my phone, hesitating. Should I really send it? A single text, innocent enough, but with just enough truth to stir suspicion. Lila's voice buzzed in my mind. Careful. Don't overstep. I typed anyway. Funny, I ran into Clara at the cafe. She mentioned she's surprised Adrian never mentioned his past projects at the firm. Strange, isn't it? I hit send and waited. My heart pounded. Later that evening, Alex approached me. You look satisfied. Something good happened. I smiled faintly, just observing. Small things. People noticing little inconsistencies. Alex raised an eyebrow. And Adrian? I shrugged.
He's tense. He doesn't know why.
I'm not doing much, just nudging reality into place. The next day, I heard whispers in the office. Someone mentioned Adrian's old mistakes in front of clients. I stayed nearby, pretending to copy a report, but I caught his eye. His jaw tightened, subtle, but noticeable. Later, I walked past him in the hall. Everything okay? I asked casually. Fine, he said quickly, too quickly. I nodded slowly.
Sure.
Just seemed a little off today. Off. He forced a smile. I'm always on top of things. I laughed lightly. Of course. You've always been diligent. The thrill coursed through me. Watching him flinch at small truths, hearing the tension ripple around him, it was intoxicating. But then guilt crept in. Why am I enjoying this? I whispered to myself. Lila called during lunch. You sound different. Excited, maybe? Maybe I am, I admitted. It's small, but seeing him scramble, realizing his past isn't buried, it's satisfying. And frightening. I didn't expect to feel this way. You're good at this, she said. But don't get lost in it. Remember why you started. I will, I said, tucking the phone away. Later, at a client meeting, Adrian tried to assert dominance, but he stumbled slightly over facts he usually had perfect. I noticed everyone exchanging glances. I smiled inwardly. During a coffee break, Alex leaned in. You're really careful, aren't you? I have to be, I said. One wrong move, and it all blows up. I want him to feel the tension, not know where it's coming from. He nodded slowly. It's clever. Dangerous, but clever. I bit my lip. Dangerous to me too. Seeing him falter, it stirs something I didn't expect. Exhilaration, fear, sadness, all tangled together. Mixed emotions aren't bad, he said quietly. They show you're aware, alive. I smiled, though my chest ached. I just never thought I'd feel this way. Controlling, watching, influencing, and still wishing he would regret everything. Alex tilted his head. Are you enjoying the control? Not entirely, I whispered. Part of me does. But the other part? The part that remembers our life, the promises, the love, it still hurts. Then don't lose yourself in it, he said firmly. I won't, I promised. But as I watched Adrian walk past, his confident mask slipping just a fraction, I couldn't help the small thrill that danced through me. The first move had been made. And I knew this game had only just begun. White heavy checkmark word count. 600. The room buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses, but my eyes were on Sophia. She floated through the crowd, perfectly poised, smiling at everyone, but there was tension in her gaze whenever it flicked toward me. Fancy seeing you here, she said, sidling up to me with that polished smile. Sophia, I said smoothly, raising my glass. I didn't expect to run into you tonight. I go where Adrian goes, she said, tilting her head.
Naturally.
But tell me, have you been busy lately? I hear things, people talking. I arched an eyebrow, calm. Busy? Everyone's busy. What kind of things? Oh, just little incidents. Rumors. Minor mistakes at work. Strange coincidences. Nothing serious, she said carefully, watching my reaction. I smiled faintly. Sounds like office chatter. People always exaggerate. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. Perhaps. But it's odd, isn't it? How things happen around you, and then Adrian starts noticing. I sipped my wine, composed. Maybe Adrian's just more observant than you think. She frowned, clearly testing me. Or maybe someone likes to influence events without being seen. Do you enjoy that? I laughed softly, keeping my tone casual. I enjoy observing, watching people reveal themselves. That's all. Her eyes narrowed slightly, suspicion creeping in. Interesting. She drifted away after that, leaving a chill in her wake. I exhaled silently. Close call, I whispered to myself. Alex appeared beside me, offering a reassuring smile. You handled that well, he said quietly. I think so, I replied, lowering my voice. But she's onto me. I can feel it, that glance that's dangerous. Don't let her rattle you, Alex said. Stay calm, stay strategic. She doesn't know the full picture, and she never will. I know, I said, leaning against the wall. But it's thrilling. I can influence events, guide outcomes, and still feel in control of myself. That's the key, he said softly. Power doesn't have to corrupt. You just have to know your limits. I nodded, grateful for his insight. I keep thinking about how far I should go. How much is too much? Alex shrugged. That's your moral compass. As long as you're honest with yourself, you're okay. But don't let it consume you. I looked back towards Sophia, who was chatting with a colleague, clearly unaware of the subtle misstep she was making. I felt a strange sense of empowerment, like I had pulled a string and watched the tapestry unravel in tiny, satisfying threads. Seeing her falter, without anyone realizing it, it's intoxicating, I admitted. Careful, Alex warned. Intoxication can blind you. I know, I said, but I can't help it. Part of me wants her to see the cracks. Part of me wants Adrian to notice. And part Part just wants to survive this without losing myself. That's why you're different, Alex said. You're strategic, cautious, but still human. Don't forget that. I won't, I promised. The night carried on, conversations buzzing around us. I noticed small slips from Sophia, little moments that revealed arrogance, impatience, and insecurity beneath the polished exterior. And each time, I felt both guilt and satisfaction, two conflicting emotions dancing inside me. When we finally left the gathering, Alex walked me to my car. You're walking a fine line, he said. I know, I replied, unlocking the door. But for the first time in months, I feel capable. I can shape events, protect myself, and maybe even teach some lessons. Just remember, he said quietly, power and morality are friends, not enemies. I smiled, a rare, confident smile. I'll keep that in mind. And as I drove home, I realized something terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. I was no longer just a victim. I was a force. I watched from across the room as Sophia greeted everyone with her perfect smile, but I could see it, slight cracks in the armor. A misplaced word, a momentary hesitation, tiny gestures that betrayed her composure. I whispered to myself, keep it subtle. Let the trap work. Later, at a networking event, I approached casually. Sophia, your presentation earlier, very detailed, I said. Her smile tightened. Thank you. I've been working hard. Trying to keep up standards, she replied, voice slightly forced. Standards are important, I said lightly. But sometimes even small oversights stand out. People notice, you know? She looked around, suddenly aware that a few colleagues were whispering. I'll be more careful next time, she said, a flicker of panic crossing her face. I nodded, keeping my tone neutral. Of course. Just thought you should know. No one's perfect. Alex appeared beside me. Careful, he murmured. She's starting to feel the pressure. I know, I whispered. That's the point. Not cruelty, just exposure. Let her see herself as others see her. Across the room, Adrian frowned. I caught his glance. He noticed tension, uncertainty, but he couldn't trace it back to me. I felt a pang of thrill and guilt simultaneously. During lunch, I casually mentioned a minor error Sophia had made in a previous report. It happens to the best, I said to a small group. Even great presentations can slip if we're not careful. Sophia's face paled. A colleague whispered, Did you hear about the last project? She stammered, trying to cover it. I bit back a small smile. Watching her unravel, just slightly, was intoxicating. But guilt prickled at me. Why do I enjoy this so much? Later, I overheard Adrian questioning her privately. Sophia, are you sure you've got everything under control? I do, she said, though her voice wavered. Because I've noticed a few inconsistencies, Adrian pressed. I need reliability. Can I trust you?
Yes.
Of course, she exclaimed, too quickly. I leaned against the wall, hidden in shadow, and whispered, Breathe. Just a little exposure, that's all. Alex joined me again. You're walking a dangerous line, he said quietly. I know, I admitted, but I can't help myself. The way cracks appear, the way confidence falters, it's fascinating. You're not just fascinated. You're enjoying it, he said carefully. I'm not proud of it, I said. Part of me feels guilty. Part of me feels powerful. And part of me wonders if I'm still the same person I was before all of this. Alex studied me. Maybe you're evolving. But don't lose yourself in someone else's downfall. I won't, I promised. I just need to see this play out. I need Adrian to understand, and Sophia to understand herself, if only briefly. That evening, I noticed Sophia nearly trip in front of several clients. She recovered, but her cheeks flushed red. I'm so clumsy, she murmured, forcing a laugh. You're fine, I said softly from across the room. We all have moments. She caught my gaze and frowned, suspicion flickering. I smiled lightly, almost apologetically, and looked away. Walking home, my mind raced. Satisfaction mingled with guilt. I had orchestrated small chaos, yet I wasn't cruel. I hadn't humiliated her. But the thrill of watching her stumble, I couldn't deny it. Adrian's shadow loomed too, unaware, frustrated, questioning, vulnerable. And me? I was changing. Stronger. Strategic. A part of me relished the control, but another part, my heart, my conscience, reminded me of the woman I used to be. Tonight, the trap had tightened. The pieces were moving. And I was watching, learning, shaping the outcome without being seen. I spotted him across the room, surrounded by our colleagues and mutual friends. Adrian, smiling like nothing had happened, unaware that tonight, the balance was about to shift. I walked over calmly, every step deliberate. Adrian, I said, voice steady. He turned, surprised to see me so composed. Hey, I didn't expect to see you here, he said, a flicker of unease crossing his features. I'm here, I said softly, letting the tension build. And so are all the people who know exactly what happened. Adrian raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? I glanced at our friends, then back at him. You've spent months presenting yourself as flawless, untouchable, charming, perfect. But your actions tell another story. Actions? He repeated, uneasy. I don't follow. Let me remind everyone, I said, my voice clear. 3 months of lies. 3 months of betrayal. And now you flaunt your new life with Sophia as if the past never existed. I saw the shift immediately. Murmurs ran through the crowd. Adrian's confident posture wavered. He started, but I cut him off. Don't try to justify it. You promised honesty, trust, respect. And yet, you shattered everything for convenience. For novelty. A friend whispered. I didn't know. I thought he was… Exactly, I said, turning to the group. Exactly what everyone thought. That he was loyal, dependable. That he valued the people who trusted him. And we were wrong. We believed the wrong story, because he told it well. Adrian swallowed hard. I didn't mean… Stop, I snapped, my voice rising just enough to command attention. You didn't mean anything. You only acted. And every excuse now is just a shadow of the pain you caused. Sophia, standing at the edge, paled. Her perfect mask faltered. Adrian's eyes met mine. For the first time in months, I saw vulnerability, panic, regret. You don't understand, he said, his voice breaking. I understand perfectly, I said. I understand betrayal. I understand arrogance. And I understand that consequences exist, even for those who think they're untouchable. Alex, standing beside me, gave a reassuring nod. You're handling this beautifully, he whispered. I continued, softer now, letting the truth settle. I'm not here for revenge anymore. I'm here for closure. For myself. And for everyone who believed in him like I did. Adrian, you can apologize, explain, beg, but the damage is done. You are no longer untouchable. Adrian's shoulders slumped. I never wanted to hurt you, he whispered, almost to himself. Words mean nothing now, I said. They never did. Actions define us, Adrian. And your actions revealed exactly who you are. A silence fell over the group. I could feel the weight of my words, the tension vibrating through the air. You're right, he said finally, voice low. I was selfish. I know, I interrupted gently, my anger fading. And now I don't need your excuses. I've found my voice. I've found my power. And you will remember this moment as the truth you ignored for too long. He looked at me, broken, ashamed. For the first time, he wasn't in control. I was. And it felt liberating. I took a deep breath, letting the adrenaline and relief mix. This isn't hatred. It's clarity. And from now on, I choose myself. I choose my life, my peace, my future. Adrian nodded silently, unable to argue. And as I turned away, walking through the murmuring crowd, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The reckoning was complete. I watched from across the room as Adrian fidgeted, his confidence shattered, while Sophia's polished smile quivered under the weight of whispered conversations. I whispered to myself, This is it, the consequences. Alex leaned in beside me. They're unraveling fast, he said softly. Yes, I admit it, though the word felt strange on my tongue. It's satisfying, seeing the truth finally surface. Alex studied me. You look calm, but is it really satisfaction or just relief? Both, I said, sipping my wine. Relief that I'm free from the lies, the betrayal. Satisfaction that they're facing reality. But it's complicated. Bitter in a way I didn't expect. A friend approached me, whispering, "You did well. Honestly, I didn't know how strong you were." "Thank you," I said, forcing a polite smile. It wasn't easy. I glanced at Adrian, whose eyes met mine briefly. There was regret there, raw and undeniable. I see it now, he muttered to himself, almost like a confession. Sophia avoided my gaze, fidgeting with her glass. "I misjudged things," she admitted quietly. I let them stew in the discomfort for a moment, then approached Adrian. "Words matter, Adrian. Actions matter more. You learned the hard way." I never thought," he started, but I shook my head gently. "Don't," I said softly. "It's too late for excuses. Too late for justification. But not too late for you to understand." Alex watched from the side, giving me a small nod of approval. "You're handling this with grace," he said quietly. "I hope so," I whispered, because part of me worries that this triumph feels hollow, that fixing what they've broken doesn't fix what's inside me. Alex placed a hand on my shoulder. "It's not about them anymore. It's about you. Healing, moving forward, knowing you're stronger than the hurt you endured." I nodded, letting his words sink in. "I'm stronger," I admitted. "I've realized I can survive betrayal. I can watch people who hurt me falter without losing myself. I can choose my life instead of being defined by theirs." A colleague murmured, "I never imagined you'd come back from this so composed." "Composed, yes," I said softly, smiling faintly, "but not unaffected. I've felt every pang, every sting, and I've learned from each one. That's the real victory." I looked at Sophia again, her arrogance stripped bare, and Adrian, humbled. "It's strange," I said quietly to Alex. "Seeing them crumble doesn't bring joy anymore. Just clarity, a lesson learned, and my own growth realized." Alex nodded, understanding. Sometimes, victory isn't about them. It's about discovering your own strength and resilience. "Yes," I said, taking a deep breath. "I've found that. Revenge was tempting, even satisfying in small doses. But it's not enough. Healing is more important. Moving forward, being whole, that's the true triumph." I straightened, feeling lighter than I had in months. I can forgive myself, even if I never forgive them fully. I can live without bitterness. Alex smiled. "Then you're ready for the next chapter." I smiled back, feeling the first real sense of peace.
Yes.
Ready to step into it. Whole, stronger, and wiser. And this time for myself. As the night carried on, whispers of gossip and awkward apologies surrounded us. I watched them, no longer consumed by anger or longing. I had won. Not by breaking them completely, but by reclaiming my own life.
Victory. Bittersweet, yes.
But real. I stared out the office window, sunlight spilling across my desk. For the first time in months, I felt calm, grounded. No Adrian, no Sophia, no shadows from the past, just me. Alex appeared beside me, coffee in hand. "Morning," he said, smiling. "Morning," I replied, smiling back genuinely. "You look lighter," he observed. "I am," I admitted. "It's strange. I don't feel triumphant or bitter. I just feel free." "That's good," he said softly. "You've earned it." "I think so," I said. "I've learned that survival isn't just about avoiding pain. It's about embracing who I am after it. Stronger, wiser, and finally my own person." He nodded. And I paused, considering. I'm ready to focus on myself. Career, friends, growth. The things that matter to me, not anyone else's approval or lies. Alex smiled knowingly. That's the healthiest choice. And if you ever need support, I'm here. I looked at him, a flicker of warmth passing through me. I know, and I appreciate that. More than you realize. He chuckled. Careful, you're sounding like you might want a partner in crime or life. I laughed lightly.
Not yet.
Not like that. I'm not looking for attachment. Not until I'm certain I can fully trust myself and my choices. Independence first. Always. Smart, he said, grinning. But maybe someday, that independence will be shared with someone you choose. I smiled faintly. Maybe someday. But right now, I just want me. And that feels enough. Later, I met Lila for brunch. She slid a plate toward me. So, how's the new, fearless you?
Focused, I said.
Balanced. No more being defined by others' actions. I'm choosing what defines me. That's powerful, she said. And rewarding, I bet. It is, I said softly. It's not glamorous or dramatic. Just steady.
Real.
And I like it. Lila laughed. You always did love subtle victories. I suppose I did, I admitted, smiling. But these victories feel larger than any revenge or confrontation. They're lasting. I'm lasting. Later that evening, Alex and I walked along the quiet streets, talking about projects, friends, life. He glanced at me, hesitated, then said softly, I'd like to be part of your life, in whatever way you allow. I stopped, considering. Alex, I value you. I trust you. But I'm not ready for a romantic step. Not yet. I need to know I stand fully on my own before sharing anything. I understand, he said, smiling warmly. And I'll wait, whatever pace you need. I felt a quiet contentment settle in my chest. Thank you. That means a lot. Really. We continued walking, the city lights reflecting on the pavement. No illusions, no rushed promises, just connection and understanding. And for the first time, I felt like I could breathe fully. Back home, I poured myself a glass of wine and sank into the sofa. My apartment, once heavy with memories of betrayal, now felt like my sanctuary. I could laugh, cry, or just sit quietly, and it would be mine untouched. I whispered to myself, this is new beginnings. Not perfect, not a fairy tale, but real. And real is enough. The night stretched before me, calm and promising. For the first time, I wasn't waiting for life to happen. I was living it fully, with hope, strength, and clarity. And that, I realized, was the greatest victory of all. That I sat at my desk, pen in hand, staring at the blank page. For months, I had lived other people's lies, endured betrayal, and watched chaos unfold. Now, I wanted rules, my rules written for myself, my life, my love. Alex leaned against the doorframe. Deep thoughts? He asked, smiling. Always, I replied, tapping the pen against the paper. I'm trying to capture everything I've learned. The lines I won't let anyone cross. The lessons I won't forget. Sounds serious, he said, walking closer. It is, I admitted. For too long, I let others define what I tolerated, what I believed, who I was. Now I want rules, subtle, firm, and a little witty. Reminders that I'm in control. He nodded. Can I hear one? I smiled faintly. Rule 1. Never let charm disguise intent. Just because someone smiles doesn't mean they're harmless. He chuckled. Good one. Makes sense considering Adrian. Exactly, I said. Rule 2. Trust yourself before trusting anyone else. Your judgment is your first shield. Don't ignore it. Alex leaned against the chair, watching me carefully. And Rule 3. I paused, thinking of Sophia and all the subtle manipulations. Rule 3. Observe before reacting. Small cracks reveal more than grand gestures. Patience is power. Sounds like you've grown a lot, he said softly. I have, I admitted. I've survived. I've watched betrayal, arrogance, and lies unfold, and I didn't lose myself. That's something worth noting. Alex smiled, gently. You've earned it. And now, I said, tapping the pen thoughtfully. I apply these rules. Not as revenge, not as manipulation, but as guidance. For myself. For my peace. For boundaries I won't let anyone cross again. He nodded, understanding. That's wise. And fair. I laughed lightly.
Fair, yes.
Justice is nice, but it's not what sustains you. Boundaries and self-respect do. We sat quietly for a moment, the city lights casting shadows across the room. I reflected on everything. Adrian's arrogance, Sophia's fragile perfection, the subtle victories, the personal growth. I realize now, I said, that satisfaction isn't about seeing others falter. It's about knowing you survived, that you maintained your integrity, that you became someone stronger than the person they tried to break. Alex smiled warmly. And you did. Thank you, I said softly. For support, perspective, for just being present. He shrugged, casual but sincere. You deserved it. You worked hard to reclaim your life. I nodded, smiling. I did. And I'm not done. There's more to learn, more to grow. But these rules, they're my foundation. My framework for handling life, love, and anything in between. I wrote another rule. Never sacrifice your peace for appearances. Authenticity always wins in the end. Alex glanced at it and laughed softly. Short, sharp, perfect. I leaned back, feeling the weight of months lift from my shoulders. Justice had been served subtly, but the real triumph was mine, my independence, my clarity, my rules. Here's to living by them, I said quietly, more to myself than anyone else. Alex raised his coffee cup. I'll drink to that. I smiled, a genuine, serene smile. Not bitter, not vengeful. Empowered. Ready. I looked at my rules again, reading each line carefully. They were subtle, witty, firm, and entirely mine. Every word reflected growth, self-respect, and the lessons that betrayal had forced me to learn. I whispered softly, this is my life, my rules, my story, and I choose it fully. Outside, the night was calm, promising. And for the first time, I felt the kind of peace that doesn't depend on anyone else, just me, my choices, and the quiet strength I had earned.